Shalawama.
Shalawama, Linda, we're live on YouTube, okay?
Okay.
So I'm waiting for Jimmy and Rosemary. Okay.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. I'm going to contact them.
Okay.
Hey, Linda, we'll just give them a minute, okay? Let's give them about 5 minutes. And if they're not here by then, let's go ahead and get started. Okay.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to mute my microphone. If you want to talk to me, do it through cell phone, okay?
Okay.
But yeah, mute your microphone for now until we get started, please.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Sorry.
Shalawama. Shalawama. Is everybody here now? We're live on YouTube. Linda, Rosemary, Jimmy, are you guys ready?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Are the others here?
Yes, I am here, Dr. Yasharala.
Okay, all right.
I'm here.
Okay, Shalom, everyone. So we're live on YouTube. Let me everybody here now? We're live on YouTube. Let me get rid of that echo. So what I want to do today, wait a minute, hold on. You guys ready?
Yes, I'm here.
I'm here.
Just a minute. Hey, I'm working. Can I give you a call right back? Okay. Okay. Bye-bye. Sorry about that. Bye-bye. All right. Okay, so today we're going to I hear a lot of noise in someone's background. Someone, can you guys mute your microphone, please? Thanks. All right, yeah. So we're in business now. All right, so let me get a screen share together. What I want to do today, scholars, is why don't we turn our cameras on? Are you all able to turn? I don't know about my lighting. I got to do something about my lighting though. One second. All right. Are you all able to turn on your cameras, or yes or no? Yes or no? Can you all hear me, scholars? You hear me?
Yeah, no, I'm not able to turn mine on right now.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I'm not going to turn my camera on, and it will get noisy where I'm at, so I will remain on mute.
Okay. Rosemary, what's up? So today what I want to do is go over more concepts about nationality and its connection to the soil. So these are the foundation concepts that we all need to know and understand in order to be able to function properly. Okay, in order to be able to function properly. So let's get into this. And what I want to demonstrate is that knowing who you are, that is knowing that you are sprung from the soil, that you are the heir of the first man who was created in Genesis chapter 2 is extremely significant. In fact, it is the most significant thing that there is, because everything else builds upon that. Okay. All right, so let's get into it. I'm going to do a screen share. And let's see. So I went to the Library of Congress on their website, and I did a search for Abraham Lincoln. Okay. And I was searching for the Dungee case. Okay, scholars, I was searching for the Dungee case. And I found it. I found this article that's more easy to deal with because we're doing a YouTube video. We can go through this article. And what I like to do is read through it and discuss it. And then as we see those statements that are apropos to what we've been reviewing in terms of substance, land is the substance and subject matter of the law, and wars are portable land. So let's bring these out so we can see how in law, nationality is extremely important, right? The Moors are the law, and how being Negro and Black is actually a crime. Okay, now this is how this article puts it, and it is what it is. Okay. All right. So, Jimmy, are you able to participate?
No, brother, I'll only be able to just listen. Kind of run behind me.
Jimmy, can you just send it to me on the cell phone, because your volume is really poor, distorted rather. All right, so Rosemary, you're able to participate, right? Can you unmute your microphone, Rosemary?
Yes, to some degree.
Okay, so can you get us off with the reading of the heading and the first paragraph, and give us your commentary on the salient points or the pertinent points that have to do with Genesis chapter 1.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you, yes.
Okay, say that again, please.
Okay, so let's start off with the reading of the heading of this article, where we got the article, the heading and the first paragraph, and then whatever commentary that you want. Okay. So I got this link for everyone who's listening. I got this link by going to the Library of Congress, or LOC.gov, and I searched Abraham Lincoln. Okay? And then I was able to find the Dungee case, and then also a lot of articles. And so I decided to go with this article so that we can relate facts of the case to the topic of nationality, okay? To the topic of nationality, all right? And inheritance or heirs. So this is Genesis chapter 1 versus Genesis chapter 2.
Can I just? That's okay.
All
Okay.
right, so let's get started, please. Let's go.
Yes. Oh, just a minute here. I gotta. Okay.
Live on YouTube, Rosemary.
Okay. Before he was president, Abraham Lincoln and the man who refused to be called Negro, by Ava Gabriela, contributor.
Okay, and what website is this on?
You said Library of Congress.
What's it? The HuffPost.com, right?
Yes, HuffPost.com.
Right. So the link was from the Library of Congress, and then that link led to here, HuffPost.com.
Okay.
HuffPost.com. Okay, so let's continue.
Okay.
I'm sorry, it's my
The
fault.
post was published.
President and CEO of NGO United States Sustainable Development Corp. November the 23rd, 2016. Update November the 25th, 2016. This post was published on the now closed HuffPost contributor platform. Contributors control their own work and posted freely to our site. If you need to flag this entry as abusive, send us an email.
Okay.
Okay.
President Lincoln before he was.
I see the picture.
It's Lincoln.
Okay.
Okay, so can we begin?
Can we go down? Yeah, right there.
Mhm.
Now, okay, right there. Abraham Lincoln, Esquire. Later, the 16th President of the United States. Now, you see, that's important right there. Abraham Lincoln, Esquire. Later, the 16th President of the United States. Interesting. Okay, if you scroll up, I can see the rest, right? Okay, my client is not a Negro, though it is a crime to be Negro. Abraham Lincoln, Esquire, 1855.
Hey,
It's a
Trey.
what to be
Family
Negro?
feuds can get ugly
It's a
for
what
as
to be
long as
Negro?
people.
It's a what to be Negro?
Okay, no worries, we're going.
Is there too much noise in the background for me? Is that it?
No. I just want to emphasize it. That it is a what to be a Negro?
A crime.
All right. So everyone remember that Negro is not a nationality.
No. We're just
Negro is not a nationality. Okay, continue.
Okay. Family feuds can get ugly for as long as people have been getting married and starting families. They have been feuding. Today, it is more common for family members to turn to the court to settle their differences, but it has been happening throughout history. More than 2,000 years ago, Paul, the apostle, admonished new followers of the Messiah in the church at Corinth to refrain from taking their brethren in the faith to court. Dare any of you having a matter against another go to law before the unjust?
We want a CD of it.
If you scroll,
Okay, can you give us commentary on what's significant about the title and the paragraphs that we read for this paragraph? Like a quick summary of what's important to you.
Number one, he was an esquire. Number two, he was a 16th president. A lot of people does not know that.
Mhm,
Number two, he said it is a crime to be a Negro
mhm.
because there's no such thing as a Negro nation, no such thing as a Negro country. It's just out
Right.
of place. The word is being used in the wrong context.
Yeah, so it's outside of the human family. So
Correct.
the first man created in Genesis chapter 2. We see the family of nations in Genesis chapter 10, which is Noah and his 3 sons, and the 16 nations. Negro is not in that. Negro is not a nation. So it had Jasmine. Do y'all know Jasmine? Oh, let her in.
No, I don't. Now I find the last sentence interesting. Dare any of you having a matter against another to go law before the unjust. So that in itself is saying to me that for you to take a matter to court, the people in there presiding over matters are considered unjust. So why would you take any matters to them if they are unjust? They cannot give you any justification.
Yeah, this is one of the esoteric principles in the New Testament. So we will correlate New Testament to what we've been studying the past couple of classes about the Jews or the house of Yasharala never returned to the promised land after Babylonian captivity. Josephus writing Judaism, which came with a climax with Christianity. And Christianity, that's Roman law.
Right.
What we're going to go over later that we haven't talked about right now. But this is an example of one of the esoteric principles in the New Testament, why we shouldn't just totally throw the New Testament away. I mentioned that in the video I did with Dr. G. So this principle here, settle your matters before you go to court. Okay.
Right.
Before you go to court. Okay, excellent. Shalom, Jasmine, I'm Dr. Yasapa. How are you?
Nice. I wanted you to come with me, but you weren't feeling up to it.
Okay, should I go ahead and read?
Yeah, I wanted to introduce Jasmine. Jasmine, can you unmute your microphone, please?
We're going to start calling your grandkids. So we call George.
Okay, Rosemary, let's.
Okay. In 1855, Joseph Spencer was feuding with his sister's husband, William Dungee, as is often the case with family feuds. Things took an ugly turn when Spencer accused his brother-in-law of being a Negro. Even today, some non-US born people considered it an offense to be mistaken for being a Black American, despite the fact that many immigrants also traced their ancestry back to the African continent before the travesty of the slave trade. Many are empathetically opposed to the idea of being stripped of their ethno-national identity upon arrival in the United States. For them, to be recognized an American Black person is a reference to the loss of ethnic identity, an experience with which they, can you scroll up for me, please? The screen, yeah. Which they refuse or cannot identify.
Okay, so can you highlight the pertinent points again, please?
Well, obviously, Mr. Dungee was offended.
Yes.
No, his brother-in-law, he called him a Negro and he was offended.
And then I'll be back Tuesday
And
around 3 in the afternoon.
Well, it's all about
And I'll FaceTime.
misleading concepts that people have about who they are and the fact that they really don't know who they are.
I can just feel him in my arms.
okay, anything
And,
else?
you know, they mentioned here is a reference to the loss of ethnic identity.
Mhm. So do you agree with that?
They never really lost it. They just, it's just lack of information.
Well, let's see what they mean by ethnic identity. What does ethnic identity mean?
Jordy said they're gonna come. Was he wants Ozzy to see you?
You want to go ahead and read it?
Yes, ethnic identity, an overview, science, direct topics. Ethnic identity is a multi-dimensional concept that includes self-categorization or labeling, commitment or attachment to a group, certain values and beliefs that are associated with the group, and an evaluation of the group, which can be opposed or negative, a person's sense of ethnic group membership, evaluation and salience of this.
So is this, how would you define that?
It's nonsense.
Is it nationality?
No, it has to do with whatever people, you get used to hearing something, so you go along with it.
So this is an example of what? What kind of linguistics?
Connotative
Yes.
linguistics.
Yes, because what is this designed to do? What is this leading the reader
To deceive.
Yes, because the issue is nationality, right?
Correct.
But they're getting people to think along the same color lines.
Correct.
All right. Jack Shalawama, Jasmine Shalawama, you all are welcome to participate if you like, okay? Where's the article?
It was
William. Shalawama William.
Fish City Grill.
Good to have you all here. Where's our article? Oh, here we are. Good to have you all here. You're welcome to participate. Just jump in anytime, okay? Jack, William, and Jasmine. So what can we see with what's going on here? If we think about this, analytically, if we analyze this, it doesn't make a difference. Oh, what's going on? All right, Jack.
Big black nigga balls HD.
All right, good. All right. So maybe we need to.
Where did that come from?
That was from Jack. Jack, if that happens again, we're gonna have to remove you. All right.
Get the fuck away from me, you fucking nigger.
All right. So,
Yeah, go ahead and give Jack the boot.
we'll get rid of William.
Looks like William is having some trouble as well. That music was coming from William.
All right. So let's see if we can refresh and get rid of all of this. So obviously somebody doesn't want us to get this info, right? Let me stop the share and start it again. Okay. So here we are. Okay. So here we are. Let's get back into it. Let's ignore just what just happened. In 1855, Joseph Spencer was feuding with his sister's husband, William Dungee or Dungee. As is often the case with family feuds, things took an ugly turn when Spencer accused his brother-in-law of being a quote unquote Negro. As we mentioned, Negro is not one of the nations in Genesis chapter 10. There are 16 nations. The house of Yasharala, which people call Israel or Israelites today, is one of those 16. Each of these 16 nations are heirs. They are heirs of the first man who was created in Genesis chapter 1. Genesis chapter 1, a man was created, he had seed, and those seeds are the heirs of the land, okay? The substance and subject matter of the law are moors. Why? Because moors are portable land, and by definition, moors are land. So you cannot talk about the substance of law without talking about moors, because moors are the substance and the subject matter or the topic of the law. Okay, moors are the law. All right, obviously people don't want you to know this because they just try to ruin the live stream. But as it is, this is documented in the U.S. courts. All right, so this is where we are. So this Negro, again, is outside of the human family. The human family has its origin in Genesis chapter 2. And this man, William Dungee, was accused of being something or someone that's outside of the human family, meaning he was not an heir. He was not an heir. Okay, in other words, he is not a Moor. All right, so that's where we are. So let's continue. Rosemary, do you want to continue? What's the issue here in this paragraph?
That's all right, no worries.
What's the issue? The issue is, according to this author, the issue is ethnic identity. Ethnic identity being changed. But that makes no sense, because to be called a Negro is an ethnic identity. And at that time, there was no such thing as ethnic identities. There were only nationalities. Okay, all this ethnic identity stuff is modern. It's all modern, okay? Social engineering, linguistics, connotative linguistics. Okay, so the issue is nationality. Which of those 16 nations are you an heir? I'm an heir to the house of Yasharala. Okay, which of those 16 nations are you an heir? What landmass, what law applies to you? So on and so forth. All right, so let's develop this topic about nationality versus ethnic identity. Negro is an ethnic identity. Worse than that, it's an ethnic identity that was forced on the heirs. Okay, so let's continue. Can you start here?
No, it's too much noise on my end.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Linda, can you participate?
Yes, I can read it. Where am I starting? Even today? Okay.
Yes.
Even today, some non-US born people consider it an offense to be mistaken for being a Black American. Despite the fact that many immigrants also trace their ancestry back to the African continent before the travesty of the slave trade, many are empathetically opposed to the idea being stripped of their ethno-national identity upon arrival in the United States. For them to be recognized as an American Black person is a reference to the loss of ethnic identity, an experience with which they refuse or cannot identify.
Okay, so in your own words, what are the pertinent points in that?
Loss of ethnic identity by being referred to Black American.
Okay, very good, very good. And is Black American a nationality?
No, it's not.
Very good, excellent, excellent. So this is taking, the offense is taking them out of the line of inheritance, making them unable to inherit or hold property, right? Because you have to have what? You have to have substance, right?
Correct. Mhm.
All right. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so Black Americans. Would you like to read the next paragraph, Linda?
Mhm. Yes. Where am I? Okay. The experiential reality today is born out of the legislative reality of yesterday. When Joseph Spencer accused his brother-in-law of being a Negro, it was more than just an insult. In 1855, if believed by local officials, an accusation of being called Negro would have resulted in the loss of his marriage, property, and his right to continue to live in the state of Illinois. Just 2 years earlier, the Illinois legislature passed the Black Codes, following a directive of the 1848 state constitution to pass such laws as will effectively prohibit free persons of color from immigrating to and settling in this state. The legislators not only prohibited free persons of color from immigrating to the state, but continued to build on the precedent established by other states by declaring that 1/4 Negro blood defines a mulatto or makes a Black man.
Okay, so can you take us back through that? It's a lot there. Can you take us back through paragraph by paragraph? I'm sorry, sentence by sentence.
Okay. Okay, so from the first section, the experiential reality today is born out of the legislative reality of yesterday. It talks about when Joseph Spencer accused his brother-in-law of being a Negro. It was more than just an insult. So it looks like in the next sentence here, it tells you as a result of being accused of being called or being accused of being a Negro. It says here in 1855, if believed by the local officials, if the local officials believed that the individual was a Negro, this resulted in the loss of his marriage. And here's the key point: property, because you just said that, in his right to continue to live in the state of Illinois. So it looks like to be called Negro goes back to what you just said. We would no longer be able to have land.
Very good, very good. So the issue was inheritance, right? Your ability to
Inheritance.
inherit property, to own property, and to pass property down to your seed. Okay. And
Yes.
what else is it saying here? Loss of marriage, property, your woman, your
Okay.
seed are also your property, right?
Yes.
Ecclesiastical property held in trust. Okay, so if you give up your bloodline, what does that mean? Now your seed are what? Your seed are objects. A cow,
Okay.
a horse, a cow,
Okay.
a horse, right? A chair. Now they can be what? Enslaved, put into forced servitude. Okay, because what? What's the law? Exodus chapter 20, this is the 10 Commandments. We're going to look at verse 12. What's the law, Linda?
Okay. Honor your father and your mother so that you may live long in the land the Most High your power is giving you.
So can you connect that to
Okay, so I'm not sure how to connect it to honoring of the parents.
That's correct.
Well,
Honor your father and your mother.
okay, so I guess the child will be
Hold on. If you agree that you are Negro, Black, and colored, if you agree to that, are you dishonoring or honoring your foremothers and forefathers who are Yasharala, or they're one of the other 15 nations, or to make it easy, they're Moors? So are you honoring them or dishonoring them if you say that you're Black or Negro?
Okay, that makes sense. You're dishonoring them, and as a result of that, you're not going to live a long life in the land.
Right. So there's some punishment associated with not honoring your bloodline, right?
Right.
Okay, Genesis chapter 2, all 16 nations are Moors, regardless of family line, right? There's 16 family lines, which are called nations.
Mhm.
Okay. 16. All Moors. Honor your father and your mother. So that's why we have to do what? We have to claim our nation. Okay?
Right. And by calling ourselves Black or Negro or having that title forced upon us, we are dishonoring our parents, our bloodline, our family.
That's right. It's a dishonor. It's the same way as if you have a child, and imagine if that child is going out saying that he's white or Chinese. Yeah, what's wrong with, can you imagine if your son came home saying that, or your daughter came home saying that?
Mhm.
Okay. Now, what about here? It says, nor would they have the right to continue to live in the state of Illinois. Well, wait a minute, the state of, that's a corporation, right? That's a legal fiction.
Okay.
So can you live in a legal fiction, something that's not real?
No.
No, you cannot. Y'all see that? How the language is, but the way this is written, it makes the mind think what? It makes the mind think that you can live in the state of Illinois as if it's something.
Can you expound on that a little bit, please?
Okay, so state of, this is a legal fiction. In other words, this is the creation of some legislative body. It has no substance. It exists on paper. It's abstract. It exists in your mind and written on paper. Okay. The only things that have substance are those things that are produced from the soil. So the living natural man. There's no blood running through the state of Illinois, right? It's a concept, an abstract concept. So this is a jurisdiction, okay, a corporate jurisdiction. Juris, law, right? Law language.
So we can't look at it as them trying to give a name to a plot of land or to a.
Yes, this is not land. This is a corporate jurisdiction. It has no substance. See, remember, land, what's the inseparable or inseparable principle? The two things that go hand in hand, law and land. That's why land is the substance and subject matter of law. If you remove the substance, from that relationship, what happens? You don't have anything, right?
Okay.
You don't have anything. So now you can do whatever you want to do. You can start making these legal fictions because there's no substance, right? So in other words, denationalize the Moors, remove silver, take silver, demonetize silver, demonetize the gold. Now where is the constitutional substance? There isn't any. So now these corporations, these legal fictions, these things that don't exist, now they can begin to own property. Why? Because the heirs are gone. The Moors are gone. They're Black and Negro and everything else, colored, they're Latino, Mexican, they're, all of these other things. There's no more substance, right? So now that there's no substance, who's the rightful heir? Whoever has possession. But when the heir steps forward and says, I'm a Moor, right? Now the substance has returned back into the equation. Now the matter becomes what? The land, the substance, the subject matter. Everybody follow?
Nationality.
Nationality. Nationality. So your nationality is what makes you the rightful heir to the land. But you have to be what? Competent. You have to be competent. Okay? You have to know who you are, and you have to know law. You have to know law. Okay? You have to be a competent heir. All right? Is it clear, Linda?
Yes. Yep. Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Jimmy, is it clear? So you would in fact be at. So this is at the state of Illinois, actually. So, and you can't live at the state of Illinois, can you? No, you can't. You can't live at the state of Illinois. So when you deal with legal fictions like a locality, like something like the state of Illinois or some other corporate entity like this, it would always be at, okay? Legal fictions are always at, okay? It's at, not in, because you cannot live in something that's only existing in the abstract, okay? Or what, written in words on paper, okay? Everybody got that? Okay.
Yes.
So just 2 years earlier, the Illinois legislature passed the Black Codes. So everybody should have some idea what these Black Codes are, right? Following a directive of 1848, state constitution to pass laws as will what? Effectively prohibit free persons of color. Long time ago, we looked up what it means, color, right? It means similar to, but not it, right? A knockoff, like a knockoff Louis Vuitton purse. Okay, not the real thing. All right, so 1848 state constitution to pass such laws as will effectively prohibit free persons of color from immigrating to and settling in this state. So now here they're calling you what? Calling the so-called Black people, the Moors, they're calling them colored, right? And persons. Persons are corporations, right? Remember we looked these up a while ago. Persons, this is a corporation. Okay, 14th Amendment, persons is a corporation. Walmart is a corporation, right? State of Illinois, state of Ohio, all corporations, all legal fictions created by legislative bodies. Okay, color, right? Color is not the real thing. Similar to, but not the real thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. So let's continue. The legislators not only prohibited free persons of color, they're talking about Moors, right?
Mhm.
From immigrating to the state, but continued to build on the precedent established by other states by declaring that 1/4 Negro blood defines a mulatto or makes a black man. All right, so these are all what colorful terms that denationalize Moors, right?
Correct.
Everybody see that? So they're basically setting it up so that they can take their property, take their inheritance, including their seeds and everything else. Okay, and then they would be left with nothing. Okay, so Linda, let's continue.
Now we know actually what a Black person is. He may be the offspring of an African or be the child of a person purely of European extraction, with another European whose father or mother was an African.
Okay, so these are also not nations, correct?
Correct.
There's no African nation. Africa is a continent, and it's not the ancient word used for Africa. It's Alkebulan, Ethiopia, right?
Okay.
Okay. This was a little section in Northern Africa at best, all right?
Got a
So-
question. Are you saying
Yeah.
that the black codes came out of the state of Illinois?
No.
Oh.
No. Illinois was just following the precedent of these black codes. So I'll open that link. We can look at it a little bit later, okay? But the black codes, so in other words, this is the, how can we, oh, hold on, y'all. How did that happen? Let me go back. I don't know what happened. All right. Okay, so what's going on here? This is Unum Sanctum, right? Remember the video we did on Unum Sanctum? Let's go to my YouTube channel. Everybody remember the video on Unum Sanctum? All right, let's take a look. Unum Sanctum. Anybody remember Unum Sanctum? The papal bull? Anybody remember?
I remember watching it, but it's been a while.
So yeah, watch this video, Unum Sanctum. Watch Unum Sanctum, okay? Watch Unum Sanctum. In fact, watch each of these papal bull videos that I did. I think some of you did that video with me. Watch each of the papal bull videos, all right? Watch each of the papal bull. I think there's 3 or 4 of them. Okay, and you'll see what's happening here. This is Unum Sanctum. Denationalize the Moors and take everything they got and put them in slavery permanently, forever. That's what's happening here. Okay, so let's continue. You want to give us your analysis here, Linda, or your point of view? Okay, so I'll do it. Now we know actually what a Black person is. Okay, so that implies that they before didn't know what a Black person was. Agree?
Right.
Says now we know. So there was some question about what is a Black person. Now we know actually what a Black person is. Through what? Through the operation of these laws. Okay. Is he may be the offspring of an African. Okay. African is not a nation. Okay, so we see the connotative linguistics, right? They're talking about everything but nation, because that's what nationality and inheritance, the rightful owners of the land, who are the law.
Right.
Okay. Or be the child of a person purely of European extraction. European is not a nation. Okay. With another European whose father or mother was an African. Okay, this is the Illinois Black Codes. Y'all see that?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So now, this being the case, why are these leaders, religious, political, otherwise, business, why are all the leaders telling people that they're Black and they should be happy and proud of being Black?
Conditioning.
Well, not so much conditioning. Look at the effect. The effect of this is what?
Mental slavery.
Yes, it's to keep you broke. Okay, so these are curses.
Okay.
Because as long as a person identifies as being Black or Negro or African, that's what in the US? That's a crime. Y'all see it? It's a crime. Isn't that what President Lincoln said? Well, at this time, Attorney Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln, isn't that what he said? Why are y'all being so quiet?
You know, I'm quiet because I'm soaking this in and I'm saying to myself, my God, they even have us calling ourselves these things. And I'm asking myself, how in God's green earth did they get us to be in this state?
I'll deal with that in 1 second, Rosemary. Okay, I'll show you. Okay, a quote unquote Abraham Lincoln. My client is not a Negro, though it is a crime to be a Negro. Now here you have the attorney Abraham Lincoln saying it's a crime to be a Negro, right? And it's defined in the Black codes, okay? As what? A Black person, an African, or African and mulatto. These are all outside of what? The human family. They're brands, okay? The brands. No right to inherit, no right to pass property to your offspring, okay? No right to own property. So why would they do this? Why? What's the effect? Well, we know Deuteronomy chapter 28, right? The curses, okay? Our own ancestors put us in this situation, right? By not following the Most High's instructions. Okay, so let's continue. Linda, do you want to read or do you want to break?
No, I can read it.
Okay.
William Dungee had no choice but to respond to what he considered to be a slanderous act. His brother-in-law had dubbed him Black Bill, and it was causing him harm. In October 1854, Dungee retained 46-year-old attorney Abraham Lincoln to respond to his brother-in-law's libel. In April 1855, Lincoln filed suit against Spencer, and after some legal wrangling, a hearing was set for the following May. Spencer's attorney, Clifton H. Moore and Lawrence Weldon, immediately went out to build their case against Dungee, which was set for October 1855. They traveled back to Dungee's hometown of Giles County, to Tennessee to depose people who claim to know his family.
Okay, so let's go through this paragraph, sentence by sentence, Linda. Can you go, please? Sentence by sentence, first, second.
Okay. Let's see here. Okay, so the first sentence here, it looks like William Dungee considered it a slanderous act to be called Black Bill.
Now, how is it that he considered it a slanderous act? He had to be aware of who he is, right? Is that correct? He had to know who he is or was. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's the only way he knew that they were slandering him. If he would have thought that he was a Negro, there would have been no issue, correct?
Correct. Okay.
All right. But the fact that he knew, now there's an issue. So Dungee can do something about it if he wants, correct?
Correct.
Okay, let's continue.
Okay, and what he did do about it was he hired 46-year-old attorney Abraham Lincoln.
Very good, excellent. And
Let's see here.
did he start fighting? Did he start fighting with them and being violent and all of that, acting a fool? Or what did he do?
He took legal action,
He took lawful action.
lawful action, yes.
Very good, very good. And that's what we are learning to do. We're learning how to enforce the Constitution to protect ourselves, to protect ourselves. Okay,
Right.
continue.
Yeah, that's all I got out of it so far, unless I'm missing something additional.
Okay, so let's see. All right. So now let's take a look at this word here. That's more with the E, right?
Right, okay.
So that suggests that this person comes from a family line of Moors. He was probably a Moor. Okay. That's
Okay,
the first thing that stands out. Okay. Whether amalgamated or just a Moor, or not just a Moor, but you know what I mean.
Mhm.
Guile. What does guile mean? Let's see. I don't know. What meanings can we see? Guile.
Looks like it's a supposed location, but
Etymology, medieval English form of Old French saints named Giles, modern Giles, and altered form of Latin Agidius, derivative. Young goat, y'all see that? Young goat, kid, young goat. Let's see. Kid, young goat.
wasn't that the town he came from in Tennessee, or?
Yeah, that was a town. That was a town he came from. But I'm trying to see if there's something in there that, you know, that's not on the surface. So
okay.
the town of young goats,
Okay.
the town of young goats in Tennessee. So now these attorneys did what? They went to Dungee's hometown and started to what? Interview people to find out if in fact Dungee or Dungee's is a Negro or
Okay.
a Black. Okay. All right. So now let's go to the next paragraph.
Lincoln was prepared with a defense that memorialized his superior legal mind, elevated the complexity of the society of the social construct of race, and emphasized the criminalization of being a Negro or Black person in the United States.
Can we stop right there? Can you explain what this means? Please.
I'm reading it again just to see elevate a complexity of social. I'm not sure how to explain this one.
So is social construct, race is a social construct. What does that mean?
Okay.
So they're dealing with the social construct instead of what?
Of nationality.
Yes. See, they're doing everything but talking about nationality, right?
Yes.
Okay, so can you read the meaning of social construct, please?
The meaning of social construct is an idea that has been created and accepted by the people in a society.
Okay, so that's what? That's social engineering.
And it's abstract too.
Yes, abstract social engineering. So they can do this to create whatever type of frame of mind or direct the thinking of people. They can constructs, right?
Right.
For example, the metaverse is a social construct, isn't it?
It is. Okay.
All right. So let's continue. Social construct of race. So apply that. Social construct of race. Social construct is an idea that has been created and accepted by the people in a society.
So the whole construct, the whole concept of race is something that was created.
For the purpose of some goal they want to achieve, right?
Right.
Has nothing to do with nationality. Clear?
Yes, it is.
So this is, okay. All right, so let's continue.
And then also emphasize the criminalization of being a Negro or Black person in the United States.
So put this together with the social construct. So go ahead.
So the Negro race, I'm assuming here, obviously was accepted by that society of the time, right?
As what?
Wait,
As
I'm trying to connect it back to the sentence.
An
It was an idea that was created. The Negro race is an idea that was created and was accepted by the people in society today and then as well, back then.
With what? With what? With what?
Okay, with criminalization, basically, let me see, I'm trying to word this right.
13 and 14 Amendment. What do I need?
They created in people's minds the perception of what? The perception that the Moors are Negroes and Africans and that they're criminals. Social construct. Do you see it, Linda?
Yes, I just can't word it the way you're wording it, but I get it.
Oh, that's okay. Man, my glasses just broke. How did that happen? Oh, well, my glasses, I gotta buy new glasses. All right. Yes, so who did this? Who created? That's the issue, right? Who created this social construct? Well, we already know it was a Black priesthood, right?
Okay.
The same people who created religions. Everybody see? The same people who created all of these religions and all the other false histories, because those are also social constructs, right? In a broad sense, okay? The whole idea was what? Get Moors to accept that they're Negro, Black, and colored, get society and the Moors both to agree that they're criminals, right? For the purpose of what? Denationalizing them, removing the substance from the law.
So they could steal the land.
So that they could steal the land and steal their seed, steal their women, put them in forced servitude, treat them like objects, horses and cows. Is that clear?
Yes.
All right. All right, so let's continue. Despite
his client sitting in a court with the face of a Black man with a light complexion, Lincoln's argument was simple. Dungee was not Negro. He was not Black because his ancestral origins were of Portuguese descent, not the ambiguous, non-specific ancestry of being Negro or Black.
Oh, that's a lot in there.
Wow.
That's a lot in there. What do we first? Okay, so first, let me say this. Okay. How do we know that his complexion was light? What is light complexion? We don't know, right?
Okay.
Some people can say, I'll give you an example. One of my classmates was from, I think it was from Ghana or Nigeria. I met his mother and she said I was a white man. I went to visit him at his house and she told him a white man came by here earlier to see you, but you weren't home. You ever see that? She said I
Okay.
was a white man. Okay, and then he told me, well, he said that in his country, they will call me a white man. Y'all see my color, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what is light complexion? Okay. What is light complexion? And what does that have to do with anything? Right? So that's the first thing. And we don't even know if this is true because we've seen so much connotative linguistics and manipulation in this writing so far that we have to question everything.
Mm-hmm.
So light complexion, that's the first thing. And we know light complexion is still what? A more.
Right, because we come in different shades.
Okay, so now this is saying, despite his client sitting in court with the face of a black man with a light complexion, so he's a Moor. Lincoln's argument was simple. Dungee was not a Negro.
Mm-hmm.
All right. He was not black. Notice this, he was not black or he was not a Negro because his ancestral origins were of Portuguese descent. Now, we know today that the Portuguese were who? They would have been classified as black today, right?
Oh, okay.
Right? We know that, right?
Okay.
Now here, the perception that we've been taught in school is that they are the hybrids, right?
Right.
But we know better now. Portuguese would have been classified, they were Moors, okay? They were Moors. The hybrids came over with them as slaves, servants, well, let me rephrase that. As slaves, soldiers, okay? And indentured servants, so on and so forth, right?
Okay.
Portuguese are Moors. They would have been dark people, okay? Notice what it says, not the ambiguous, everybody knows what ambiguous means, right? Unclear.
Mm-hmm.
Not the ambiguous, non-specific ancestry of being Negro or Black. So a Negro or Black has no what? Has no nationality.
Right. Okay, I see what's going on.
So Lincoln was saying, my client has a nationality, whereas those who are classified as Negro and Black, according to the Black codes, according to the social construct, they don't know where they come from. Y'all got it?
Okay, I see.
So a person who's saying that a person who says I'm Black, I'm Negro, I'm African American, all of these brands, that person is really saying, I have no ancestry. Ancestry, what is ancestry? Family line, right?
Family line, nation.
Nation, non-specific ancestry. They don't have anything that they can inherit. They're not substance. They're not the substance of the law. Rosemary, is that clear? What about for you, Linda?
No, it's clear. It's definitely clear.
It's definitely clear.
Mm-hmm.
So being without a nationality, being without ancestry, back to Genesis chapter 2, is a huge problem. Lincoln says that he's a Moor. Why? Because he has ancestry. In this case, it's what? His ancestry, the Portuguese nation. Right?
Okay.
Negro has no nation. Okay, now let's continue reading, Linda.
My client is not a Negro. Though it is a crime to be a Negro, no crime to be born with a Black skin.
What does that mean?
Okay, this ties into what we've been reading. To be a Negro is to be a criminal.
Yes. Yeah. By social construct, right?
By
Accepted
social
as social.
construct.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
But what he says here is that, however, it is not a crime to be born with a Black skin or brown skin, probably be a better word.
yes. And so what does that mean? If you're born black, if you're born with the dark skin and you have a nationality, you have a ancestry, or you know who your forefathers are and you proclaim it,
Mhm.
is that a crime?
No, you have not committed a crime.
Why? Exodus chapter 20, verse 12, honor your fathers and your mothers.
Okay, right, because you've right. By claiming your nationality and your ancestry, you have upheld Exodus chapter 20, verse 12.
Yes,
Your mother and your father.
that's why it's no crime to be born with black skin
Right.
if you have a nationality. The crime is having no nationality, ambiguous,
Mhm.
right? The Negro has an ambiguous, non-specific ancestry. What do the black people say? They say, I'm black, or they say, I'm African. Well, that's a huge continent, right?
Right.
That's only a landmass. What about line? See that? Unclear. So, no crime to be born with black skin as long as you have a nationality. So if you're in the case where you're black or Negro right now, and you've been studying, let's say you've been studying here or wherever you study, and all of a sudden you know that you're a Moor, now once you claim your nationality or declare your nationality, now, now what? It's no longer a crime.
Right. They cannot treat you like a criminal.
Right, right. As long as you are competent. Okay, let's continue, Linda.
But my client is not a Negro. His skin may not be as white as ours, but I say he is not a Negro. Though he may be a Moor, Mr. Lincoln interrupted Judge Davis, scarcely able to restrain a smile. You mean a Moor, not a what?
No, you mean a Moor, not Moor. Moor is the last name.
Oh, okay. You mean a Moor, not Moor. Well, Your Honor, Moore, not C.H. Moore, replied Mr. Lincoln with a sweep of his long arm toward the table where Moore and I sat. I say my client may be a Moor, but he is not a Negro.
See that? See that? Is that clear, or we need to go into it? This guy, C.H. Moore was the other party's attorney.
Right.
Okay, Moore, M-O-O-R-E, is a surname.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and this is actually the surname of Moors, right? It's indicative of a Moorish ancestry. So you see, I don't know. I mean, this is quite strange to me that he would have that name, but be that as it may. You mean a Moor? A Moor is portable land, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Capital M means a specific people. Okay, a Moor. Genesis chapter 2, right? Let's
Right.
look it up. No, we don't need to. For those of you who are looking who are watching this video now or in the future, go back and watch the first video that we did in this series of episodes, and you'll see the lawful definition of land in that video out of the Black's Law Dictionary, and you'll see that land and Moor are synonyms. Okay, a Moor is land and land is Moor. All right, you'll also see the etymology of Moor itself and Moorish. Okay, so is that clear, Linda? That's Genesis chapter 2, right?
Yes, it is.
You mean a Moor, Genesis chapter 2, a man created from the dust of the soil. All right, but he is not a Negro.
Correct.
So a Negro is not Genesis chapter 2, man.
No, it's not.
So a social construct. Okay, so Rosemary, are you able to read? Or Linda, can you continue? Or what do you want to do?
I'll continue.
All right.
Slavery still in full effect is much of the nation. Lincoln was not seeking to absolve all people with skin that might be misinterpreted as Black of the crime of being Negro. He was simply drawing a distinction that one who could identify with their ancestral origins of something other than Black to a specific culture, people group, or nation, there it is, was not subject to the same statutes that governed those who were or had been marred with the shameful badge of Blackness. Despite
Can you go into
the
this? Before reading further, can you give us some commentary on this or some analysis, whichever?
Okay, so I mean, it's basically showing what we've been talking about.
Yeah, but remember, there are people who are going to watch this who don't know what we've been talking about.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm not good at regurgitating information like that. I'll try.
Okay, all right.
So, okay, so we covered the fact that to be Black is to be looked upon, Black or Negro is to be looked upon as a criminal.
Mhm.
And it,
Well, let's go sentence by sentence. It might be easier for you. So let's just look at the sentence and explain it in your own words.
so slavery was, Lincoln is showing that obviously at that time, slavery was still in full effect.
Mhm.
And he wasn't seeking to, I guess, absolve all the people, you know, of color or of Black skin, brown skin. But okay, he was simply drawing a distinction that a person who could identify their ancestral origins, this is tying back to Exodus chapter 20, verse 12, honoring your mother and father. Those who could honor their ancestral origins, basically they know what nation they're from. He said it here of something other than Black, and it says to a specific culture, group of people, or nation. Okay, now these people, they could not be subject to the same statutes that govern those. In other words, they could not be looked upon as criminals.
Yes. And so what is Lincoln? Very good, Linda. So Lincoln is saying, listen, I'm not trying to help every Moor or Black person or African who's been misinterpreted or who's been recategorized or categorized as Black. He says, I'm not trying to help them, right? That's up to them to find out who they are. Okay, that's up to them to find out that being Black is a crime, and then to return to the principles of their ancient foremothers and forefathers and to follow the Most High's instructions by honoring their mothers and their fathers, right? Exodus, like you said, 20:12. He said, that's on them. Some of them are misidentified as being Negro, okay? Then Lincoln goes on to say what? Or to do what? Draw the distinction between someone who has a nationality. What is culture? Culture is a language, right? Practices and customs, social norms, that's your law, okay? Okay, so landmass, law, heritage, economy, that's nationality, right?
Right.
There's a difference between a man who has color in his skin, who has a nationality, and one who has color in his skin and he doesn't know his ancestry. He doesn't follow the principles of his ancient foremothers and forefathers. That man has a problem because now that man is going to be classified as a Negro and he's going to be considered a criminal. And we all agree to it, right? The whole society agrees to this person being, or this group of people being criminals. Do you agree?
Yes.
If that's what's being said?
Yes.
All right. Okay, it says specific. African is not specific. Black is not specific. They're not even nations. There's not a bloodline. African is not a bloodline. All right. And it says what? The people who have a nationality are not subject to the same statutes that governed those who had been marred. So this is saying that being called Black or Negro or African is a shameful badge.
Mhm.
But they twisted it on us, didn't they? Because now our people, since the 60s, have been saying, since the 70s have been saying, I'm Black and I'm proud. Whereas
Right.
before it was a shameful badge. It was a shameful badge. And what did they do? They got the people to agree to it, didn't they?
They sure did.
And
It's on
they
the job
used music.
applications.
Yeah, they
Your phone, your video is breaking up a little bit, Dr. Yosapa.
music
Yeah, we're not able to hear you clearly. You're freezing.
and song and dance. And okay. So can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. If you could repeat everything you just said.
Okay. So they got us to be excited and proud of something that's shameful. So being called Black and Negro.
Yeah, your video is freezing again.
It was shameful back then. All right. All right. Tell me when my sound is clear. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
All right. So let's see if I can get it in this time. Okay. They used James Brown, his song, I'm Black and I'm Proud, to get us to agree and be proud of this shameful badge, Black, Negro, colored, right? I'm Black and I'm proud. Did y'all hear that?
Okay, yes, yep. Okay, you're right. I remember that song from James Brown.
Yeah, they got us to agree to it and to be proud of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they got us to do what? They got us to agree to be US citizens through the civil rights movement. Is that correct?
Yes.
And now they got us to willfully agree to be African Black and dishonor our mothers and fathers, okay? Because we are Moors. Genesis chapter 2. Y'all get it?
So every time we claim to be Negro, Black, or African, we are dishonoring our mothers and fathers.
That's right. Exodus chapter 20, verse 12. Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. We're dishonoring them. And there's a punishment for breaking the Most High's instructions, and we feel it every day, don't we? The curses.
That's right.
Okay. All right, so let's continue. So by the way, when a person comes into this knowledge, why would they ever want to continue to hold on to something that's shameful, a shameful badge like being called Black or African? Strange to me, right? But
Yeah.
anyway, let's continue with the reading.
Okay. Despite the defendant's claim that the white community in Dungee's hometown considered he and his family to be Negro or of mixed blood, Lincoln pointed out that no one who lived within 30 miles of the plaintiff was present to testify to that effect. Lincoln drew the distinction that not only was Dungee not Negro or Black, but that he quite possibly was of Moorish ancestry by way of his Portuguese descent that would account for his skin tone, but separate him from the domesticated
Amalgamation.
okay,
Mixed.
amalgamation.
Amalgamation.
Yep, amalgamation that defined those who were still in or who had emerged from the bonds of American captivity.
Okay. Hey, so can you explain that for us in your own words, please?
Okay.
Okay, so Lincoln's brother-in-law claimed that that he was Negro or he was mixed blood. So mixed blood means amalgamation, right?
Okay, yes, we've talked about that. Mm-hmm.
So perhaps African mixed with European. That's what they're alluding to, right? Because they're saying he had light skin.
Okay.
Now, it's interesting to me that they would say he had light skin, because what does that do? That continues to hide that the Portuguese had dark skin.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
So if they would have said he had dark skin, people would say, well, wait a minute. The Portuguese were black. But they
Right.
said he had light skin so that they would think he's mixed. Y'all got it?
Okay.
All right. All right. So the issue now is he coming from a mixed or amalgamated ancestry? In other words, an ambiguous ancestry, like the Negroes who don't know who their ancestors are, right? Beyond your grandmother, you don't know to this day, you know. Or
Okay.
got it, yeah. Or is his ancestry really known to be Portuguese, although amalgamated or mixed? That's the issue, right?
Right.
Okay, so those people who were still in or who had recently got out of bondage or slavery, right, captivity, these people, they didn't know who they were because they had what? All of the psychic attacks that were put on them to take away their nationality, the breeding farms where people didn't know who their mother and fathers were, right? Because they would just
Right.
take two men, a man and a woman, and then they would mate, and then the baby would be shipped off, and nobody knew who the parents were. Okay. No nationality.
Okay.
All right. Let's go to the next paragraph.
Okay. Scholarship on the ethnic origins of the Moors is quite broad, but most agree that the Moorish people are themselves an amalgamation of 7th century of North African Arab, Sub-Saharan, and West African descent who migrated to Spain and then Portugal over the next 7 centuries. By the 15th century, the African slave trade in full swing. Portuguese colonies were thriving in South America, and by the 16th century, they were arriving in North America. This was
Okay, let's stop
also
right there. Let's stop right there. So what do we know? From Genesis chapter 2, we know the first man was a Moor.
right.
Okay, so we can disregard all of this, right? First man was a Moor. I mean, if we want to be fast and accurate, do you see it?
Okay.
The first man was a Moor, so therefore all of his sons and daughters are Moors, right?
Yes.
Land is Moor, sprung from the soil, autochthonous. Okay, so what is this talking about?
That's what I'm reading to try to figure out. So
Okay, how about if I give you a hand?
it sounds like they're trying to,
They're talking about ethnic origins again, not nationality. See that?
okay.
That's the first place to start. This is a social engineering term, so you can completely ignore it. The issue is, what are Moors, or who are Moors? Genesis chapter 2, the first man was a Moor, so therefore all of his offspring for all generations are going to also be Moors. Regardless of the family group, remember there's 16 nations. All 16 nations are Moors. They're all Moors. That's the first. Do you agree or disagree?
No, I agree. I'm just trying to understand what they're talking about when they say these descendants migrated. Weren't we already there?
We were already there, but and see, if you don't know that, then you won't be able to ask that question.
Okay. Okay.
Right? You have to know that in order to be able to ask the question. So what I'm trying to get at for the audience, not necessarily you, Linda,
Mhm.
is by applying the knowledge that you have of Genesis chapter 2, you can disregard this.
Okay.
You disregard it because it's not.
It's
Go
connotated.
ahead. Yeah, it's not. It's it's speaking as though there are real divisions, but there are no divisions. This is
Okay.
the same family,
Mhm.
right? Same family. The first Arab would have been classified as black,
Mhm.
right? The first Europeans would have been classified as black, but they're all Moors.
Okay.
Okay, so we can make this, we can simplify this. Once we see this right here, ethnic groups, see ethnic origin of the Moors. Well, the ethnic origin of the Moors, there's no such thing. Genesis chapter 2 is where the first man was created from the soil. So that's the origin of Moors, Genesis chapter 2. You follow me?
Yes.
Right. And all sons and daughters born in every generation from them are Moors. Okay, by definition. Okay. See, if you know this, nobody can trick you. Nobody can trick you by trying to get you into arguments about family lines or nations that may not have ever existed in history.
Okay.
You follow?
Yes.
You can immediately simplify and say all natural people are Moors. Okay. Are you okay?
Okay. That makes sense.
Linda?
Okay. Yes. Mhm. I'm processing it.
Okay. Okay, let's continue. By the
Okay.
15th century,
Where am I? Okay. By the 15th century, the African slave trade in full swing, Portuguese colonies were thriving in South America, and by the 16th century, they were arriving in North America. This was also the peak of the Ottoman Empire, which found reluctant allies in the slave trade with the European states. The result of this difficult alliance resulted in the early arrival of Turks in the New World. By the late 17th century, the first English colony of Virginia was faced with the daunting task of trying to reconcile and take census of the many people groups that it found in the region as it set its sights towards legislated enslavement of people with visible volumes of melanin.
okay, excellent. So what are they doing in this whole paragraph? In this whole paragraph, they're trying to what? Establish the history of the presence of the Portuguese in North America. That's what they're doing here. Okay.
Okay.
That's what they're doing. Okay, but we can simplify this just by knowing that all original peoples are Moors. All right, and what is this saying? By the late 17th century, the English colony of Virginia was faced with the daunting task of trying to reconcile and take census of the many groups that was mentioned up in the upper part of the paragraph, right? Of the many groups that it found in the region as it set its sight toward legislated enslavement of people who have visible melanin. So they're saying, you know what? We're going to take these people property, put them in bondage, make them work for us for free, and we're going to do it by law, right? We're going to do it by law, a social construct and law. Okay, anybody who has visible melanin in the skin. So since they're saying this, since Dungee has what? He has an ancestry, a Portuguese ancestry, and that Portuguese ancestry can be documented in history. Well, then we have to acknowledge his ancestry. Okay, right. That's what they're saying. But those who can't document their ancestry, they got a real problem. Y'all see it? They
Right,
have a real problem. Right. Y'all see these people, they are trying to intimidate me. Can you see Scream Bitch entered the waiting room? Can y'all see that? All right, so let's continue. Next paragraph. In
Yeah,
November
I see some
1680,
questions.
say it again.
I see a question from one of the people in the chat.
Just ignore it, okay?
Okay.
It's offensive.
No, it's actually good. Well, it's a statement. This person here, Dolores, says, so therefore all nationality is Moorish, or the root of all nationality is Moorish, I think is the question she's asking. Thought that was.
If you're Genesis chapter 2,
Mhm.
Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, these are the natural people that the Most High created. Genesis chapter 1 are hybrids. So this is Genesis chapter 2 in the KJV, in answer to your question. Verse 7 reads, and the Most High formed a man of the dust of the ground. Okay, so this man was formed from the dust of the ground. Okay, amen, okay, formed from the dust of the ground. All right, so this is the answer to your question. Now you have to go back and watch episode 1 and episode 2 of this series of videos that we're doing. This is number 3. And then go back and watch the video that I did with Dr. G about Moors are the gods and the law on earth. And all of the answers are in that, or in these videos. Okay, so any other questions that are legitimate questions, Linda?
Yeah, I don't see anything, but she said it was a statement. She just said it was a statement.
Okay, all right. So hybrids, Genesis chapter 1, hybrids are not, they are not able to inherit, right? They are not substance. Okay. So let's, Linda, do you want to continue?
Sure. Okay. In November 1682, legislation was passed that forged all Negroes, Moors, mulattoes, or Indians into a new racial classification of Negro. Also,
Stop right there. Let's stop right there. They're saying Moors and Indians are Negro. Y'all got that?
okay.
That's an admission, right? November 682 legislation. Okay, let's continue.
Okay. All servants except Turks and Moors. What?
That's Moores.
Okay. Again, the scholarship is quite broad on the reasoning for this distinction, but some point to unspoken agreements with North African rulers during the Ottoman Empire that in later years would be codified in a series of treaties known as the Barbary Treaties.
And guess what? The Ottoman Empire is the Moorish Empire.
Okay.
That's the Moroccan Empire. The Ottoman Empire is the Moroccan Empire. Okay, and the Barbary Treaties. All right, so let's continue.
Okay. The treaties dated from the late 18th century through the near mid 19th century set forth a number of agreements that provided certain civil and religious protections to those who arrived in early America from North Africa.
Okay, now that's Treaty of Peace and Friendship, right?
Okay.
1836. Okay, let's continue.
Lincoln was no doubt familiar with this distinction and sought to rely on this legislative precedent to make the case for his client. I say my client may be a Moor, but he is not a Negro. Lincoln won the case with prejudice.
That means they couldn't come back and retry. Okay. Is it clear?
I believe so. I don't know what everyone else thinks, but I think it's clear.
Okay, so we see the treaties are even mentioned in here, right? Treaty of Peace and Friendship. All right. And Dungee won the case. Let's continue.
In the
So
years
what
to
is this telling us? What is this? Wait, just a minute. I need to bring this out. So this is telling us that once you claim or proclaim your nationality, right, you return to living the law, living the principles of our ancient foremothers and forefathers. That means act honorably. Act honorably. That means do what you say you're going to do and do right by people. Do no harm. Follow natural law. Okay. We must return to that as a people. Okay. That's the first thing. And then once we begin to do that, we can then what? Enforce the Constitution. Okay. The treaties are in the Constitution. The Treaty of Peace and Friendship. And we as Moors are documented. Okay. We are documented in the history of the U.S. Okay. We're documented in that. And not only that, but we are the people. We, the people in the preamble, are Moors, and we are the ones who put this Constitution for the United States together on behalf or for the hybrid, but for our benefit. So we're the beneficiaries, okay? So do no harm. Do no harm. Return to the Most High by following his instructions, which is natural law, okay? And when you proclaim that you are a Moor, you are one of the people who ordained the Constitution, right? Your ancestors ordained the Constitution. Well, now you are noted, you're seen rather. You're seen. You're seen in the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, 1836. And treaties are the highest, or treaties are the supreme law of the land. Okay, so do no harm. Live honorably. Okay, live honorably. Return to the Most High. All right. Okay, Linda, let's continue.
Okay, let's see. We're
In the years to come.
years to come. In the years to come, due to the effects of mass oh goodness.
Homogenization.
Homogenization. I'm tired. Homogenization of ethnicities with melanin and the decline of eventual fall of the Ottoman Empire, the distinction between the legislative class of people recognized as Negro and those who received legislative protection from being identified as Negroes was lost to history.
So that's saying the Moors, those who are Moors, they know that they're Moors, subjects of the Moroccan Empire, and those who don't know where they come from, African, the Negro, the Black. That's what it's saying. Okay, let's continue.
Okay. In America, if you have melanin, you are Black, unless like Lincoln, you can find some compelling argument for why you are not. Lincoln's.
Oh, Linda, wait. Say something about this.
That's interesting. Okay, I'm going to read again. In America, if you have melanin, you are Black, unless like Lincoln, you can find some compelling argument for why you are not.
The issue is not about complexion, is it?
No, it's not. This goes right back to the social construct.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So what's the argument that we are not? We're Genesis chapter 2. We are portable land, the substance and subject matter of the law. Right. We are the people who ordained the Constitution. And we are Moorish Americans, right?
Right.
Foreign nationals to the U.S. And the treaty, we have protection under the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, 1836. There's your reasons. Clear. There's your reasons. Genesis chapter 10. 16 nations, Moors, okay, sprung from the soil, substance and subject matter of the law. I am the law. That's sovereign,
Mhm.
okay? And we follow natural law, which is to do no harm. All right. So y'all leave us alone. Stop messing with our YouTube live. let's continue reading.
Lincoln's friend, editor of the Chicago Magazine and author of the Illinois Black Codes, Zabina Eastman, said, "What an awful inference used to come from this idea of color. The devil is made black. In Africa, the devil is white."
Okay.
Ha ha ha. I'm back.
Yeah. So and this is very good article. Very good article. Very good article. Unfortunately, most of our people don't want to hear it. Okay, so that's the end of the article. Anybody have anything to say about that?
Well,
That
you
last
just said
sentence?
something interesting there. Why do you think that is? You said, unfortunately, most of our people don't want to hear it. Like, why do you think that is?
Why? Because experience, my experience. But the Black people have a certain mentality. They're indifferent. They don't care about themselves.
Okay.
I think I have a different view.
Okay.
I think that we have been so bogged down with so much mess from every which way, 360 degrees. It's like the little boy that cried wolf. So now something that is real and tangible comes about, and it's like, man, I just don't want to be bothered, you know? I really think that's what it is, because for them to find themselves, they have to take time out to do what we're doing here. And let me tell you, the way the life is hard, you have to work 2 jobs, husband and wife working, and still is not enough to maintain the home. You know, you have to deal with the kids when they come home. You still got to clean the house, you got to cook, wash, and you got to deal with everything that happened on your job, all the nonsense that happened in school. You know, they have done an extremely great job with the Illuminatis and their creed by keeping us busy and bogged down, that it's almost like, man, you just come with another song and dance, and it's like, I just don't want to be bothered. But this time it's not, it's real. You know, it's like the little boy that cried wolf, every minute is something, and then when the wolf really come, nobody want to be bothered. I really think that our people is just bogged down with so much that they just, you know.
Well, they have time. They have time to go party on the weekend. They have time for video games. They got money to buy
but
Nikes,
listen, you
alcohol.
got to understand, I'm not trying to make an excuse for them. That's their way of going to a therapist. They don't have money to go to no therapist. That's their therapy.
Yeah, I hear you, but they're responsible,
correct,
for their behavior. And behavior is an expression of what a person really wants and expects from themselves.
You know, me not being from this part of the land, I had to study them, the African Americans. I had to study them because I couldn't understand what I was seeing, and I couldn't understand why. I was forced to study them because they were just, man, putting some licks on me, some blows for no reason. I mean, absolutely no justifiable reason. So I had to study them.
See, Rosemary, my opinion is that, the psychic attacks have been extremely effective, and they have given up.
I see 2 lost generations here. when I studied them, I saw my generation here lost and the generation after me lost.
Yeah, they've accepted it, and now it even, yeah, they just accepted it. They've accepted it, and they're happy. It appears that they're happy with entertainment, alcohol, marijuana, and sex. Even their children being shot down dead in the street, it's not enough to make them turn around. They're hypnotized by
accepted
TV
that.
and music.
That's
and
the old,
fun
well,
and
that's
good
just the
time.
way it is.
Yeah. So, you know, and here's the other thing, because they've been so miseducated and they've been so hypnotized and directed toward what do you call it, sensual gratification. They won't even invest in themselves. They won't even invest in developing their own institutions because they're
Well, yeah, I see
under
that.
mind control. They're under mind control, and they're on autopilot for mind control.
Yeah, I agree. That's
Try
another
it.
long topic.
Linda, try it. Linda, try talking to a Black person about this topic. See what happens. Try talking to 10 and see how far you get. They're not going to want to hear it. You know, they're going to want to talk about ridiculous stuff.
Dr. Yasaba,
Unfortunately.
point out in the chat, Wisdom Seeker University says most never heard of this.
Yes, and that's unfortunate because this case came about when? Let's take a look. What does this say right here? Can everybody see the highlight? Criminal Code sections of the Illinois State Code summarized in the Illinois Black Code. Okay, author Zabina Eastman, 1883. How many years ago is that? What year did this case happen? This case happened in 1855. Y'all see it? So 45 years to 1900, 1900 to 2000. That's 145 years plus 22, 167 years. Nobody's heard about it. Social construct, right? They've got to have people on the team keeping this hidden. Y'all see it? How can it not be known after all these years? 1855 to 1955 is 100 years. Plus 45 more, 120, 145. Plus 22 more, right? 167, something like that, years later. And this is still not known. And this is nothing complicated. Nothing complicated. All right, and this article was published. I mean, it's not like we got some kind of top secret stuff. This was published in the Huffington Post in 2016, 6 years ago. Y'all see it? How can our people not know if they're, I mean, if they're interested, they would know this, but they only care about pleasures these days. You know, they're completely brainwashed. Completely. That's why the Most High said he's going to make our number small, because they're not going to do anything other than what they're doing.
They're already small.
Yeah, because remember, y'all, there's 16 nations. Yasharala is only one. So we don't need every Moor and every Black person to return to the Most High, right? Y'all see, there's 16 nations. We're only one. Y'all see it?
Yeah, I get that.
So we don't need everybody to return to the Most High. Only those who are from the house of Yasharala needs to return to the Most High, because the contract is with our nation, right? Now, is it possible for all Moors to be house of Yasharala? Yes, it's possible. but we can only go by what the document says. Okay, so let's close out this live stream. So thanks everybody for watching. Support us in our work. Go to zionlawschool.org and enroll, subscribe to rather the one-on-one ancient Ibaryath course. So this is zionlawschool.org. Click on course offerings and you'll be able to see the course. That this is a streaming course. This is a powerful, powerful course, and you're gonna love it. It's only $1 for a one-day trial and $10 per month for a subscription, cancel anytime. This is gonna teach you our ancient language. This is gonna help you return to the Most High, okay? And then come subscribe to our class, okay? Our live class on Saturday. And you can see the link for the live class and that video and the streaming class by going into the description area of the video right here. And you can click on either one of these links and register, okay? Also support us by ordering our books for yourself, friends, and your family. The books are amazing. And if you're able, if you can afford it, if you like our content and you want to see more and you want to support us, you can send a donation. All of that information is in the description area of the video. So with that, we're going to say shalawama to the YouTube audience.